One morning, I woke up late, just like any typical teenager, and realized I had less than 10 minutes to get to school. And not just any school day, but the final of a big public speaking competition that I'd been preparing for weeks. In a rush, I just grabbed my bag, shoved my feet into what I thought were my school shoes, and dashed out the door. I was damn sure I would smash that competition. But it wasn't until I got out of the taxi that I looked down. Sleepers. My good old fluffy blue slippers smirking right at me. Then panic hit. What if someone notices? What if they laugh? What if my classmates nickname me Sleepers Guy? They'll never let me live it down. And it was my turn to speak. I'm on stage, hundreds of eyes on me, in my slippers, and my heart was beating out of my chest, and the only thing in my mind is, what are they thinking of me? They are thinking I'm dumb. And I barely finished my speech, already accepting that I'd lost the competition. That day, I lost the competition that I'd spent weeks preparing for, even pulling all-nighters. Not because of my sleepers, but because I let the fear of other people's opinions control me. Then I started asking people if they had the same experience, and found out I wasn't alone. We've all had those moments, haven't we? Whether it's hesitating to post something online because we thought, what if nobody likes it? What if someone leaves a mean comment? Or you have that moment when you are about to share an idea in a meeting, but your brain goes, what if they think it's stupid? Most people live their lives through a filter of what will people think? And the bigger problem is when it starts shaping the big decisions in our lives. Think about it. How many people choose a career, a major, even a university, not because they love it, but because they're afraid of what people might think or say if they didn't. It's like we're living someone else's dreams just to avoid looking like a loser. But the irony is, we really are losing in the end. And it got me thinking, why do we fear so much what other people think? And how do we stop fearing what other people think? Before we start, just a quick disclaimer. It's different from caring. Caring is good. It's what gives us empathy. But the fearing is what holds us back. So let's not confuse them. So to better understand the reason, let's go back a couple of million years when we were these. Humans were vulnerable. We couldn't swim well, we didn't have sharp teeth. Compared to other animals, we were bad at pretty much everything in nature, meaning we had to work together. So for the vast majority of human history, we evolved in small tribes. Everyone was depending on other people for their own survival. So if there was a cranky guy in the tribe who's always wasting food and acting up, and if the tribe kicks him out, he's dead. Humans can survive alone for long in the wild. So back then, people didn't have to have brains, so to speak, or their brilliant ideas that made them different. They were not supposed to be different. It was all about fitting in to stay alive. So as long as they followed the tribe rules and made everybody else like them, they were guaranteed safety, or else they would die. As a result of that fact, we are evolved to equate social rejection with death. Kind of similar to how our society works these days, right? You may not have your own passions or unique goals. If you live based on what other people think and become whatever society wants you to be, or if your goals are cool enough to share at a family dinner, your social safety is assured. Otherwise, you are the odd one out, or the black sheep of the family, if you will. But you might say, we don't live in tribes anymore. Yeah, but many people create and live what I like to call a golden prison. A place where we live fearing other people's opinions, trying to become someone else to meet social expectations. A place where everybody is proud of us, no judgment, no critics. Oftentimes, we ourselves prefer to stay in this prison for the sake of our social safety, even if it means ignoring our true selves, our dreams. But think about it for a moment. Does it really matter if it's beautiful, shiny gold, if it's still a prison, where you can never be free, where you can never get to discover yourself? It doesn't, right? So how do we break out of this? Or how do we stop fearing what other people think? Okay, let's plan this prison break together. First, let's look at what actually goes on in people's minds while we think they're constantly judging us. In a 2000 experiment by Thomas Gilovich, participants were asked to wear a t-shirt with a weird picture on it. Let's say this. Something they found embarrassing, but it was something else in the original experiment, by the way. Participants then had to walk into a room full of their fellow students. Afterwards, they were asked to guess how many people noticed the t-shirt. And this is what they thought. They thought half the group would remember it. But the truth was this. Only less than 25% of people actually noticed the t-shirt. Others were probably wrapped up in their own insecurities, thinking about their own problems. And this is exactly what happened to me. That day, while I was freaking out with my slippers on at the thought that everybody else was thinking I was dumb, just like many other educational public events, many people in the audience were probably thinking the same thing. When will this end? Right? People are too busy thinking about themselves to pay much attention to us. They actually don't care about most things as much as we think they do. So, why fear something that barely exists? These opinions we fear may not even exist. I learned it the hard way that it's something what smart people would call spotlight effect. Something that makes us feel we are the center of the universe. But as we now know, it's just an illusion we create in our minds. Yeah, just like I said, people are too busy. They don't really care about our problems because they are too busy thinking about their own. Just understanding and internalizing this itself is liberating, isn't it? But there is still one person who always criticizes you the most harshly, who always notices your flaws and never forgets them. Guess who this person is? Not your best friend, by the way. It's you. Sometimes we ourselves consider some things not normal. Sometimes we ourselves think that we are not allowed to be different, or have unique goals, or make mistakes. So the rest of the problem, the bigger part of the problem, comes from within, which means the key of the golden prison is actually in our very hands. It's self-compassion. It's embracing our imperfections and differences. Let's be kind to ourselves. It's okay to be different from others. It's okay to have goals that are not acceptable by society. As long as you are true to yourself, it's okay to be different from everybody else. It's okay to make mistakes. Let's just own them. This is what makes us human. It's okay to have embarrassing moments sometimes, just like mine, wearing slippers on a stage. Let's try to make them happy memories instead of something we hate about ourselves. In my story, for example, I could have just said, look at these slippers I'm wearing. Sick, aren't they? My mom gifted them to me. And laugh together with my friends, even with the audience. It would have been a great memory instead of a failure. We can all do this. Let's turn our missteps into stepping stones toward a better future, where we can be free and happier versions of ourselves. So the next time you catch yourself fearing other people's opinions, remember, don't fear opinions that may not even exist. But what certainly exists is our differences and imperfections. Let's embrace them, because the world needs you just as you are. Thank you.